The Galactic Council's emergency session convened in the crystalline chambers of Nexus Prime, where representatives from 47 species sat in stunned silence. Admiral Zethkar of the Vraxian Empire, his 6 arms trembling slightly, accessed the holographic display that showed the empty void where Earth's solar system had once been. "Counselors," his voice carried across the vast chamber, "we have a situation of unprecedented magnitude." The Terran representative's chair remained conspicuously empty, had been empty for exactly 73 standard galactic days. That's when the humans had simply disappeared. Counselor Yixara, the insectoid representative from the Hive Collective, clicked her mandibles nervously. "Perhaps we should review the circumstances that led to this exodus." A collective shudder ran through the assembly. They all knew what had happened, but speaking it aloud made the reality more terrifying. 3 months ago, humanity had petitioned for equal representation in the council. The request was modest. They wanted the same voting rights as the other founding species, despite being relative newcomers to galactic civilization. The humans had integrated well, contributed to trade networks, shared their peculiar art and music, and even helped mediate disputes with their strange empathy-based diplomacy, but the Council had refused. "Humans are too young," the ethereal collective had declared. "Too unpredictable," added the Silicon Minds. "Too emotional," concluded the Vraxians. The human ambassador, a soft-spoken woman named Dr. Sarah Chen, had stood in this very chamber and made one final appeal. Her words echoed now in Zethkar's memory. "We understand your concerns, but we've proven ourselves as allies, as contributors to galactic peace. All we ask is for our voice to be heard equally." The vote had been unanimous. Request denied. Dr. Chen had nodded quietly, gathered her materials, and simply said, "Thank you for your time." No anger, no threats, no dramatic declarations. Just quiet acceptance. That should have been there first. Warning! Within a week, every human ship had begun returning to their home system. Trade agreements were honored to the letter, but no new ones were signed. Human scientists completed their research projects and politely declined collaborations. Human artists finished their performances and returned home. They were so cordial. "About it," whispered Counselor Thrackan, the amphibious Aquarian delegate. "That should have terrified us. Indeed, it should have. Other species threw tantrums when denied council privileges. The Korvaxi had attempted a military coup. The Cylon had tried economic warfare. But humans? They had simply gone quiet. The second warning came when humanity declined to participate in the annual Galactic Peace Festival, an event they had helped establish and had never missed. Their message was brief. "Unfortunately, we must respectfully decline this year's invitation. We wish all participants a successful celebration." The third warning was when human colonies throughout the galaxy began shutting down. Not abandoning, shutting down. They completed all contracts, sold their properties at fair market prices, and systematically evacuated every human settlement in council space. "Sir," interrupted Lieutenant Veltar, Zethkar's aide, "the reconnaissance reports are in." The holographic display shifted to show the Sol system, or rather, what remained of it. Every planet was gone. Not destroyed, not conquered. Gone. In their place hung massive void pockets, perfectly spherical regions of absolute nothingness, where not even background radiation existed. "How?" Counselor Yixara's voice was barely a whisper. According to our xenoarchaeology teams, Veltar continued, they found artificial constructs hidden throughout the system, constructs that predate human civilization by millions of years. Apparently, Sul was never their original system. The implications crashed over the assembly like a tidal wave. Humanity had been refugees, survivors of some ancient catastrophe, who had settled in a temporary shelter while they searched for their true home. And the Council, in their arrogance, had denied them representation in a galaxy where they were actually the senior species. The constructs? Zethkar's voice cracked. What were they? Transportation devices. Dimensional bridges. The humans didn't just leave our galaxy, Admiral. They left our reality. Counselor Thrakun rose from his seat, his aquatic suit bubbling with distress pheromones. We need to contact them. Apologize. Offer them anything they want. Sir, Veltar's next words carried the weight of galactic doom. We tried. Every communications array in Council space has been attempting to reach them. But there's nothing. No responses, no traces, no quantum signatures. They've left so completely that it's as if they never existed. The truth settled over the chamber like a shroud. Humanity hadn't just rejected the Council. They had rejected the entire framework of galactic civilization that the Council represented. They had taken their advanced technology, their mysterious history, their problem-solving abilities, and their stabilizing influence on galactic politics, and simply left. There's more, Veltar continued. Intelligence reports suggest that other species have noticed humanity's absence. The Ravager swarms have begun probing our outer territories. The Dark Fleet has emerged from the galactic rim, and the Void cultists are mobilizing for the first time in millennia. Admiral Zethkar felt his blood chill. Humanity had been more than contributors to galactic civilization. They had been its hidden guardians. Their quiet diplomacy had prevented countless wars. Their scientific innovations had solved problems other species couldn't even identify. And their strange ability to find common ground between incompatible civilizations had held the galaxy together in ways the Council never realized. Sir, a new voice called from the chamber's communications center. We're receiving distress signals from 17 sectors. Without human mediation protocols, old conflicts are reigniting. The trilateral peace accords have collapsed. The Xerion-Vultan ceasefire has ended. The Galactic Council sat in their crystalline chamber, finally understanding what they had lost. They had treated humanity as junior partners in a civilization that humans had actually been protecting from the shadows. And now, in the face of humanity's quiet departure, they were beginning to realize just how much they had depended on the species they had deemed too young for equal representation. As Admiral Zethkar watched the tactical display fill with conflict indicators across the galaxy, he whispered the words that would define the Council's legacy. They left us in quiet, and now we know it's too late. In the end, humanity's greatest weapon hadn't been their technology or their military might. It had been their simple, devastating ability to withdraw their protection and let the galaxy face the consequences of its own arrogance. The Council had wanted to keep humanity quiet. They had succeeded beyond their wildest nightmares.